NBA playoff Western Conference Finals begin tonight on Monday, May the 18th, and I've got a complete in-depth analysis, deep dive, Spurs Thunder, side, total, player props, series outlook, regular season results, everything you need to handicap the Western Conference Finals starting tonight on Monday, free for you right here, right now. Hi, this is Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com, right back here on Wager Talk TV, breaking down Game 1 and the series itself for the Western Conference Finals. Do we dare say the NBA Finals? Probably is. Whoever wins this will definitely be favored in the finals, and these are the two best teams in the NBA, Spurs, Thunder. Just a quick reminder, if you're liking these videos, thumbs up, like, and click that hype button on your mobile device. Always appreciate it. Positive comment below, and also click subscribe and click the bell here on Wager Talk TV so you get an instant update each and every day when my free videos are posted, including your Game 1 Eastern Conference video for tomorrow on Tuesday right here on the channel. All right, this game, of course, in Oklahoma City, they do have the 1 seed, the best record in the NBA, but the Spurs won 4 of the 5 regular season meetings against the Thunder. By the way, this game is on NBC National TV and Peacock for you on Monday night. Tip-off slated for 8:30 Eastern. 8:30 Eastern tip-off in the Midwest here. Thunder currently a 6.5-point favorite. The total has risen from 218 up to 219.5. So we've seen a little bit of over money. Thunder 6.5-point favorite. Total now up to 219.5 from the opener of 218. As I said earlier, Spurs won 4 of the 5 games this season against Oklahoma City. Now we have to throw out the 5th game because the Thunder sat all their starters. SGA didn't play, Holmgren didn't play, Hartenstein didn't play, and the Spurs are actually a 10-point favorite in that game. They won by exactly 10. They landed right on the number. Odds makers are so sharp. But once again, we're not going to include that game. But I do have the analysis, the statistical analysis of the other 4 games. And let's go through, game-by-game result here and also point out some things that stood out to me. First of all, they met the first time, if you recall, back on December 13th in Las Vegas for the semifinal of the Cup, the NBA Cup. And the Spurs pulled a huge upset in that game as an 11-point underdog. They won the game outright, 111-109. Little misleading, though, as the Thunder actually somewhat controlled that game. They led for about 2/3 of the game outright, had a 16-point lead, blew a 16-point lead, ended up losing late in that game as the Spurs outscored them by 1 in the fourth quarter. They actually had a 1-point lead heading to the fourth and ended up winning by 2, but the Thunder up by 11 after the first quarter in that game. Got off to a fast start, and then OKC made the come-from-behind win. By the way, Wembanyama had just come back from injury in that game. He came off the bench, only played 20 minutes, did still have 22 points. And if you recall also, Oklahoma City was off to a 24-1 start to the season, NBA record, and then they dropped that game against San Antonio. So the Spurs can definitely compete in this series. And SGA, by the way, had 29 in that game, but he was just 1 for 7 from three-point range, but he did go 12 for 23. Oh, Jalen Williams played. He only played like 20-some games this year. He did play in a few of these regular season games, and I point that out because Jalen Williams is listed as available. He is expected to return from that hamstring injury. This is the third-team All-Star, third-team All-NBA last year, Jalen Williams, not the backup Jalen Williams, who spells the name differently. This is the big boy, the big player, the second-best offensive player probably on the team, who has been out since Game 2 against the Suns. And he had some nice start to the NBA playoffs. He got hurt again. They were resting him. He could have come back, I believe, against the Lakers. They obviously didn't need him, as the Thunder are perfect 8-0 this postseason. Interesting dynamic, though, here in Game 1 with Williams returning, because how will it disrupt the chemistry? AJ, has done fantastic with him off the court, and it's really not been a lot of a drop-off here. And I'm not so sure they necessarily need him back. We'll see if there's any disruption. We'll talk more about that in a moment when we talk about player props. But once again, Spurs did win that NBA Cup semifinal in Vegas. And then you would think it was a big revenge spot for OKC, but then 10 days later, December 23rd in San Antonio, Thunder lost again, 130-110. Spurs won outright as a 6.5-point dog in that game, and that was a statement game, to say the least, for San Antonio. They dominated that game, really nothing misleading about it from start to finish, just complete domination on that game, December 23rd, at home for the Spurs. Not only was it a 20-point win, they led for 66% of the game, had a 21-point lead at one point, and really made a statement there that they can play with the Thunder. As far as players in that game, SGA once again got his. He had 33 points, but he only made one three-pointer again, 1 for 4. So those first 2 games, He had 62 points. It was just 2 for 11 from 3. Took 22 shot attempts. Guy that disappeared once again was Chet Holmgren. 3 for 10 shooting, only 7 points. And that's a guy we're going to talk more about in the player props because he did not do much in this series against San Antonio. And I don't think it's a fluke. You look at the matchup against Wemby down low. Holmgren struggled. He did have 17 points in that cup game, but he was only 3 for 8. He was 10 for 12 from the free throw line in that NBA Cup game. He was really limited from the field otherwise. And Holmgren, once again, we're going to talk some player props here in a moment. The guy I wanted to mention. Now, you would have thought the bounce back spot for Oklahoma City was going to be on December 25th. 2 days later, after that embarrassing loss, the Thunder are hosting the Spurs on Christmas as a 10-point home favorite. And the Spurs win that one again easily, 117 to 102. They win that one by 15 points. And here again, really nothing misleading about it. The Spurs had a 17-point lead in that game, had a 52 to 46 points in the paint edge, 10-point fast break edge. As far as key players, Wembanyama 19 points, only played 25 and a half minutes. This is a situation where a lot of guys got some rest. Oklahoma City, SGA 22 points, 7 for 19. Once again, just one three-pointer made, 1 for 6. In those first 3 games, SGA was just 3 for 17 from three-point range. Jalen Williams did play 29 minutes. Holmgren, 10 points, did not make a free throw, did not make a three-pointer. He struggled once again. Hartenstein actually played well with 13 points in that game. But there, what looked like a great revenge spot for the Thunder, they lost outright by double digits. Well, the Thunder finally got back on track in their other home game a few weeks later on January 13th. This time it was just an 8.5-point favorite. They won easily by 21, 119 to 98. And that was the one game they did dominate in this series. Now, once again, they led the majority of that Vegas game and fell in the second half. This one, they didn't take their foot off the gas. Only had a 3-point lead at the half. They were up then 19 after the third quarter and eventually won by 21. As far as the box score there, Wemby played 27 minutes, 17 points. Let's see, Castle Fox, we're going to talk about them in a moment. They both played pretty well overall in this series. SGA had 34 points. Once again, only one three-pointer. So he made only 4 three-pointers out of, 23 or so shots in the 4 games, and he still got in that 30-point range every time. Got to the free throw line a lot. Holmgren, though, was limited. Even in the big win, he only made 1 field goal in the game. He was 6 for 6 from the line, but just 8 total points. So you can see where we're going with this. We're going to be looking to fade Holmgren. Jalen Williams played in that game and had 20 points. So Williams played a lot of these regular season games, December, January, and of course in the playoffs with him out, A.J. Mitchell has done the heavy lifting recently. It's hard to know exactly how effective Williams will be back in the game, and if he plays more, Mitchell probably plays less. So you really got to be careful with Mitchell and Williams props in game 1. But we'll look at the overall side and total first. We'll get more to playoff player props here in a moment. As I mentioned, the Spurs won 4-5 in the regular season. It's really remarkable because I think if you take those games out of the mix, the Thunder were like 84% against every other team in the league, and they went just 20% in the 5 games against the Spurs. So obviously San Antonio does have some matchup edges, and I do think it starts with their size down low. But what's interesting is, though, SGA was still getting to the hoop. They were limiting him from three-point range, almost kind of conceding that he's going to get to the hoop, get to the line, don't let anybody else beat you. So I do think SGA playoff props are worth a look. Player props are worth a look over here. Holmgren under for the reasons I mentioned. Wembanyama has maybe, if you're going to play him, points and rebounds up and over in games here, especially game 1, because he is inconsistent scoring, but he usually, if he doesn't score, he gets a ton of assists and rebounds. If you're going to play Wemby over, I would do so with points, rebounds, and assists in some kind of combination. Castle and Fox both played extremely well for the most part in this regular season series. I like Castle and Fox up and over. The game itself, it's tough to know how the Thunder are going to respond here at home with a new lineup change. Yes, the Spurs were really the better team in the regular season, but do we really want to bet against OKC at home in game 1? It's a tough call. I'm going to look at the total instead, though, for a free play in this video. I like the under 219.5 for a few reasons. First of all, game 1s, especially in the conference finals and the NBA finals between Class A teams, and these are, in my opinion, the 2 best teams in the NBA, have a tendency to go up to stay under the total. Defensive intensity. We talk a lot about that in elimination games, like games 6 or 7s when someone is always facing elimination, we usually see more defense. Well, we see it a lot in game 1 as well. Sometimes games 2, 3, 4, even 5 is when we see more overs because nothing's on the line. But teams usually come out focused in game 1, especially Class A teams, because they're usually good defensive teams, and these are 2 great defensive teams. In fact, they're 2 of the top 3 based on defensive efficiency in the NBA this year. Thunder have been number 1 for the past 2 seasons, and the Spurs are the 3rd best defense in the NBA this year. In fact, both defenses rank higher than the opposing offenses. As far as those regular season meetings here, yes, the totals were set a lot higher. You go back to the December games, totals were anywhere from 233 to 235, then a 229 in January, 219.5. But if you look at the final scores in those games, that semifinal playoff cup, a playoff type game, 220. The San Antonio blowout after that was 240, but then the San Antonio win in Oklahoma City on Christmas was just 219. Oklahoma City, when they were focused at home, landed 217. So all these games came within a basket or so of this total, but once again, playoff intensity usually shows more defense, especially in game 1 among Class A teams. This does fit a 60% under situation. I would look at the under between San Antonio and Oklahoma City here in game 1, under 219.5. As far as the team total, I would go with the under for the team that you like to lose the game if you're looking at a team total. And the reason I say that, it really depends on who you think is going to win. San Antonio was still competitive. Their team total is around 106.5 in this game. But if you look at the regular season meetings, they got to 111, 130, 117 in the first 3 that they won, and then 98 when they lost. Meanwhile, OKC is priced around what were they, about 113 last I checked. Their team total is around 113 in this game 1. They only got to 109 in Vegas, 110 in a loss, 102 in the home loss, and then, of course, 119 when they won. So, OKC, depending on if you think they can compete here, their team total, 113, would be a little high based on the regular season meetings. But I think the overall game total under 219.5 is probably the safest approach. All right, we kind of looked at the player props already. I did that a little early here. I do like Holmgren under his points. He's priced around 16.5. It's tricky because the odds makers have to look at the playoffs, look at the regular season. He's had a great playoff so far. In fact, Holmgren has done a lot of damage so far in the postseason. In fact, he's had 16 or more in, I think, like 6 straight games now, and he averaged 17 for the season. So the 16.5 makes a lot of sense, but as I pointed out earlier, he does not match up well against the Spurs, especially Wembanyama down low. Holmgren under 16.5, I think, makes a lot of sense here in game 1. SGA, I'm never going to fade SGA, and if I'm leaning game under, I'm not looking really to play over props. But he did get his, and he only made 4 3-pointers in the 4 games that we talked about, and still got into the high 20s, low 30s in all those games for the most part. So I think they're going to continue to let SGA get his, and they're going to limit the other guys. So the secondary players, especially Holmgren, are guys I'm looking to fade. Mitchell and Williams are the other secondary players. Just don't know how much court time either one's going to get. You could play them both under with that logic. So Williams under, Mitchell under, Holmgren under, neutral and SGA here from the Thunder side. Wemby, as I said, is kind of up and down with points, but he usually makes it up with rebounds, and he does have a nice matchup edge, so I think his rebounds or assist prop over could be worth a look here in game 1. And Fox and Castle both look pretty good, and I do think the Thunder, as good as they are defensively, might have some matchup problems against that backcourt, so you could play both Castle and Fox up and over. You probably hit at least one of those on Monday night. Hey, there you go. I wanted to give you a deep dive in the regular season history because I do think it's very relative here. Of course, we're throwing out that 5th game. We did not talk about the February game because, once again, Oklahoma City sat all their starters for the most part. I think Williams played, but Hartenstein, Holmgren, SGA did not play in that February win. But the Spurs still went 3-1 in those other 4 games this season, which is pretty impressive because OKC still finished with the best overall record in the NBA, despite going just 1-4 against San Antonio. Put that in perspective, and they're 8-0 in the playoffs now too. So they're 71-14, 71-14 against everyone else in the NBA this year, and just 1-4 against the Spurs. And of course, the Spurs are now 70-23, 70-23 on the season. These are by far the 2 best teams in the NBA. Should be a great series. How do you think it plays out? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thunder minus 240, take back plus 200 on the Spurs. Is there value with San Antonio in this series. Obviously, the veteran edge, the championship edge goes to the Thunder, but San Antonio does have some matchup edges here in this series when you dig deep like we did looking at the regular season. I think the shooting percentage was up with like 48 to 48%. Spurs had the three-point edge, 35 to 30%, and that's actually maybe a little bit of a concern because, as I said earlier, SGA only hit 4 threes in those first 4 games, and they still were competitive, won the last one at least. They weren't really necessarily competitive in the other ones. They were actually up in the first game, won the fourth game, so you can kind of say it was like a 2-2 series statistically. If they hit the threes, I think the Thunder probably win this series, but do the Spurs have a matchup edge containing the perimeter? Holmgren struggled in this series. He didn't get his threes either. What are your thoughts? Drop them in the comments below. I do truly read the comments. I reply back, as do tens of thousands of viewers here on Wager Talk TV. And don't forget, include some analysis. Your favorite side, total player props for Game 1, so we can all learn and earn and win together here on Wager Talk TV. And if you're liking these free play videos, I'll keep them coming. All I ask is a thumbs up, like, and hey, click that hype button on your mobile device. Always click the thumbs up, like, laptop, computer, or mobile, but you get to hit the hype button on the mobile device. It's so much fun. You get 3 hypes a week. It resets, I believe, on Monday, so use one of them right here. Hit that hype button on your mobile device. And 248,000 subscribers can't be wrong. Make sure you're one of them. We're so close to 250,000 here on Wager Talk TV. 250 right around the corner. Click subscribe, but also make sure you click the bell as well so you get an instant alert. And you'll know when my NBA playoff videos are free each and every day here for the conference finals, including your Game 1 Eastern Conference Finals preview for tomorrow on Tuesday. Now, I'm going to give you free plays throughout the NBA playoff sides, total player props every day here, giving you free baseball videos. Sometimes they make my best bet service. A lot of times they're light leans only, and I would recommend treating them as 1% of bankroll. That's appropriate for a light TV lean. But if you want to know what my official 4% best bets are for Monday night for both basketball and baseball, check them out on my page right now, stevemerrillwagertalk.com, and get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. And while you're there, check out the daily free play. The last cut, just a bit outside from being a best bet, goes up as a bonus free play on my page each and every day. So go get the free play for Monday, get my strong best bets, and get there quicker, wt.buzz/SM. Also, check out special offers that are still available here for the month of May. 3 days for $49. Normally one day is, actually not normally, one day is $39, all access. Right now you can get 3 days for just $49. Great sampler, entry-level product. Or if you want a longer-term package, the 30 days is always a great option. Normally $299, just $199 right now with the instant $100 discount. But to make it even better, 10 more days added for free. So that's 40 days for just $199. Wow, great offer. Every NBA playoff game through the finals, along with Major League Baseball each day right now with that 40-day special and the $100 discount. Or the one-year all-access is about as good as it gets because you get every play every day, football, baseball, basketball, 365 straight days and nights, and you're getting an $811 instant discount right now, which gets it down to about $1 a play, no promo code needed. So whether you want the 3-day, the 1 month, the 1 year, it doesn't matter. Everybody's getting the same best bets I'm using every day, and it's always been that way since I started 30 years ago as a full-time professional sports bettor and handicapper, August of 1996. That's right. My 30th anniversary comes up this summer, and it's always been the same. If I'm using a game, I give it to my clients. Every client gets my personal plays each and every day, and they're available right now for Monday, along with that bonus free play, Steve Merril, wagertalk.com. And hey, get there quicker with shortcut wt.buzz/SM. Like, subscribe, comment below, and be sure to follow me on social media on X and Instagram at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, MERRIL, at Steve Merril on X and Instagram. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV because more free play videos are coming up next.